Hi, this is a quick demonstration of Dungeon Crawler, the card game. It's an expandable card game, which means that you can play solitaire or cooperative two-player right out of the box, but you're going to be, you can also get other cards to expand your collection. So the starter comes with this player's guide. This is a refresher on the rules of the game. It contains like some information that you'll need to play. There's demonstrations online if you want to learn how to play the full game. And I'm going to give you a little brief overview. The starter also comes with tokens. It comes with 3 decks. Okay, so this deck here is the crawler deck. It's going to come with cards that you need to use against the dungeon. So it's got equipment cards, magic, that kind of stuff. This is the dungeon deck. This comes with monsters, traps, terrain, and events that are you're going to be facing in the dungeon. And this one here is the adventure deck. This actually has your adventures and your quests in it. Okay? So I'm going to set up for a quick demo, and I'll be right back. Okay, to start the game, we're going to do the setup. We have our quest cards across the top here. You choose 3, and the objective of the game is to try to complete 2 of those, or to complete the dungeon. The way you lose is if you run out of crawler cards, you run out of your resources, run out of time, and then all the same thing. And if all of your adventurers die. I set my tokens up here for easy access. And what you do is, first thing you do is you draw 5 cards. So I'm just going to draw 5 off the top. I happen to get a lot of skill cards. They're the ones with the hands. Got tactics here. All of these are temporary unless they specifically say permanent on them, like this one here. Okay, that's the elite. Okay, take a look at those, set them aside. Okay, now we're going to build our dungeon. And the way that the starter is set up is that you build it to 4 points, but we're going to build it like a standard game. We're going to build a 5-point dungeon. And what you're looking at is the cost in the top left-hand corner. That is the cost of the card coming into play. So we've got 2 points, 0 points, 1 point, another point, single. So we've got 4 points, and okay, I got 2 points, which puts us at 6. That's what we call a bust. A bust card goes on top of the dungeon. It's going to get pulled into play next round no matter what happens. So we can fully expect to see the wild Naga come into play next round. So what we're going to do is we need to determine the defense of the dungeon. So first things first, we're going to look at the life score of the creatures in the dungeon, and we've got a 0, a 0. It's the second score here. So the first one is power, second one is defense. We got 1 and 1 here, so that's 2 so far. The next attribute that adds to defense is armor. This guy has armor plus 3. And both of these guys have armor plus 1. This guy is not contributing anything to the defense of the dungeon. So we've got a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So using our cards, we got to try and come up with 7 power. Now this is where some of the nuances of Dungeon Crawler comes into play. Each of these guys is worth 1. Either you contribute to defense or you contribute to the attack, and it's your choice. So if I contribute all 4 of these guys to an attack, I have 4 on the attack, so 4 power. So I need another 3 power to overcome the defense of the dungeon. But that will leave me completely defenseless. So I'm not going to commit all of them for sure. I may actually have to go on the defensive here. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put Elite in play. Elite costs 1 and it's permanent. So it's going to consume 1 of my skill resources at all times. Now, I can afford it because I've got the Gypsy Thief who's got 4 skill. Now, when you're looking at the resources in play, it's whoever has the most resources is king. So in this case, I've got 4 resources provided by the Gypsy Thief. If I didn't have this guy, the highest resource for skill I would have would be the Gold Dwarf Warrior at 2. So I would only ever be able to put 2 in play in a round. Now it doesn't matter who attacks or who defends, it's kind of considered a group effort. So I really don't have any offensive cards in hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to be very resourceful. I'm going to put this, it costs 3, so I'm at my max of 4. It allows me to lock a target dungeon card. So lock would be the purple tokens. Right there. I'm going to lock the War Fiend Demon. That means that it cannot attack, but it's still contributing to defense. So that'll help me on the defensive round. I don't really have much going on here as far as anything else. So this is also a boost card. It has 2 little icons on the left hand side, and those icons will match these class symbols in the bottom left hand of the adventurers. And that means that I can use that boost ability if I've got a match in play that's not locked. So sometimes the dungeon will come in and they'll lock down one of my adventurers and I won't be able to use the boost ability, attack or defend. Well, in this case, I'm not locked yet, so I can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to lock as a bonus a 0 cost card. The only 0 cost card in play is the Gravaxin. So I'm going to lock that guy down. I'm just going to use a token. Alright, so that's a wound token, but regardless. Okay, so that leaves literally only the zombies to defend and attack, or more specifically to attack. Now they've got together 3 power each, so that's 6 attack power coming my way. So if I defend, I can provide 4 defense, and in hand I don't have too much. Now this is a 0 cost card, but I can put it in play, and that will allow me to 0 out one of these guys. So I'm going to 0 out, doesn't matter, the twins, so I'm going to 0 out this guy. That means the dungeon is only attacking with 3 power, which means that I have successfully defended. And I could defend with just 3 adventurers. I don't have to get the 4th one, I just have to meet it or exceed it. Same with the attack power. I just need to meet or exceed the dungeon's defense in order to deal a wound. So that was the end of round 1 as far as the attack and the defense. So I'm going to clear cards. So we're going to remove all the cards that are not permanent. So both of those go to the grave. Those reset. These guys get unlocked at the end of the round. And this guy has 0 life or 0 stamina. So what happens to him is he actually goes to the grave. Same with the Gravaxin, they clear. So it's actually, even though that War Demon is very powerful, he doesn't stick around very long because he's basically a summoned creature, but not specifically a summoned creature as in the card abilities. So I'm going to draw up to my hand limit, which is 5 cards. Oh, I got more defense. A lot more defense. Okay. So hopefully I will be able to do some kind of attack this round. So we rebuild the dungeon up to 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. Okay. Now these 2 cards both have something called Enfeeble Target X. Target X is whatever the cost is here plus 1. In your... here. So it's actually 1. So what happens is Enfeeble strips the highest resource I have available to that target. So my equipment is stripped from the Gold Dwarf, so it's as though he's not in play. So the highest equipment resource I have is 2. That's the Wood Elf Scout, which is not a problem because I don't have any equipment cards in hand, which would be really good on the offense. So I'm just going to put a token on there to represent that the Gold Dwarf is enfeebled. And then now I gotta go through the attack and defense. So as the adventurers, I always attack first. So 2, 4, 0, and 1. So I just need 5. I would only need, oh, I did forget something here. This allows me to get a hand limit of 7 cards. So when I draw cards, I should have drawn an extra 2, which would be really nice. Okay. Still no attack cards. Alright. Alright, so anyways, I'm not going to be able to attack effectively, so I'm going to have to go on the defense again. Resourceful would allow me to tie up one of these guys. She has thrown +2, which makes her actually a 6 power. So if I resourceful her, which I lock her down, I'm still facing 9 attack power, which is very strong. I've got another defensive training, so let's say I neutralize her. And that gives me 6 coming at me right now. Alright, we'll show you how damage happens. We'll take the hit. So she's locked, and it's good to lock her because she's 6 power anyways. But she also has something called pin. Pin would lock the target adventurer that she would hit. So, on this round, these guys attack. She does attack, but she's got 0 power, so we've only got 6 power coming at us. I can't effectively defend against that, and it doesn't really make sense for me to actually try to stop her anyways. I could use Brawling, and that would neutralize a wound, but I'm not really too worried about this. It's early in the game, so I'm going to allow it to hit, and I'll take a wound. Now, even though they've got 9 power, they only ever do 1 wound at a time, unless they have a special ability. Some of those would be like Area 2. Okay, so I don't want to put Brawling into play just yet because I've got 1 point always being consumed, and if I put that into play, I'll be over what I can do in order to do Rapid Strike if I ever get to use it. So I'll leave it at that. So that's again the end of the round. So now we clear cards. So I use this one. That one stays in play. Enfeeble. Okay, no, she's got 0 stamina, so she leaves. These ones stay. Because she stays, this guy stays enfeebled. So I'm gonna deal with that at some point. I'm gonna draw up to my card limit, which would be, or my hand limit, which would be 7. I got a veteran. I'll be able to drop that. Alright, so we've got 3 points in play, 4, 5. So another one of these really tough guys that that provides a lot to the encounter, but then fades away really fast. Okay, so we've got 3 armor, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, if I thought I was in trouble before, I'm certainly in trouble now. Okay, so I definitely want to defensive training somebody. This is probably where I'm going to use Brawling. So defensive training, reduce the power of a target character or trap that deals harm or supernatural to 0. Now the salamander actually deals fire, so I can't really neutralize him. I can neutralize the shadow elf or one of the zombies. That's not really going to be very effective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Brawling into play. Now Brawling is normally a permanent, sits there and consumes your point. However, if I use it right away, it's not going to make a difference. So they all attack. Normally they would deal a wound. I'm going to spend Brawling. That goes to the grave immediately, and I don't take a wound. Okay. I'm also, at the end of this round, I think I'm going to drop some cards because I really got a mitt full here of skill cards, and I want to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to drop Veteran, so I can draw 2 fresh cards. And because I've got Adjust Marching Order, I'm actually going to drop Hide. Now Hide can be kind of useful because of the darkness, but I haven't seen that yet. And we'll clear this guy. So we're still enfeebled. That hasn't changed. It hasn't changed targets. So I'm drawing. Let's get another skill card. Another skill card. Really should have shuffled these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're maxed out. And we got 3 points in play. Still 3 points in play. 4 points in the dungeon. 5, 6. That's a bust. Alright. So, we are now dealing with Spook, which means I cannot boost cards while he's in play. We also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defense. So this will be an interesting round because I've got some interesting cards in hand. So I'm going to skip the attack because I can't penetrate their defenses. They're going to attack. Okay, so he provides nothing. He's got 5, which is really high, but I actually want to get hit, and this is the reason why I have counterattack. So they're going to hit me, no wound. Bam, take that hit. So now I'm playing counterattack, which is when an adventurer takes a wound, deal 1 wound of any type to a character. I'm definitely going to hit the zombies. The zombies are really slowing me down. Now, if I wound a character and send it to the grave, I may deal 1 wound of the same type to another character. Cleave. Pure awesome. Plus it can be boosted. So I'm definitely going to hit the other zombie. And because I can boost it, because I have this character in play, this adventurer in play, who has the warrior symbol, I can now boost it. I could do 2 wounds to I can do a second wound to a second character. Definitely going to hit the Shadow Elf. Get rid of her. Now I'm not enfeebled anymore. Okay, it was a good round. Okay, end of the round. I'm going to clear these. I didn't overspend. I was still under 4 points. Both these guys have 0 stamina, so they go away. Oh, I can't boost because of the Phantom. I just realized that. Let me backtrack a little bit here. Okay, so Cleave went off. I'm still going to definitely use to get rid of the second zombie, but she stays in play. I stay enfeebled. Alright, and the Phantom and the Orc go to the grave. Not a problem. Okay, and we've got 5 cards. We've cleared our cards, and that's basically a couple rounds of Dungeon Crawler. You just kind of keep going through the cards, and again, the objective is to not run out of cards. Even if you have a full hand of cards and you haven't spent any, you still have to draw 1 card, and that means you have to discard down at the end of the round. So, you're going to be grinding through your crawler cards 1 round at least, and your dungeon probably 1 every 2 rounds if you've got a lot of stuff in your dungeon you can't get rid of. The quests are actually, depending on what you grab, they can have different effects. Den of Evil, get 30 characters in the grave. So each one of these red cards with the hand on it, with a claw, those are character cards. Now every single one of these so far has been a character. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 on this score, and sometimes I do track of that with the tokens. Okay, and Rescue the Damsel is a specific card. There is a damsel in the dungeon, and you have to win her win conditions in order to achieve that quest. Evil Has a Name is actually for our big bad end boss guy. His name is Greeny, and he's right at the bottom. Alright, so if we face Greeny and defeat him, we've defeated Evil Has a Name. The dungeon, sorry, let me see if I can find the damsel. There's the damsel. She was very close to the bottom. That would have been a long game. Damsel has 2 conditions, a win and a lose, and basically what happens is she fortifies the bad guys, so it makes the encounter harder. If I win the attack and the defend, I can rearrange the top 3 dungeon cards, so I get a bonus, which has nothing to do with this quest. It just means I could look at the top 3 and be like, oh, kobolds, oh, jungle trog. Well, I'll definitely want to face the kobolds first, so I'll put them on top, or something similar like to that effect. In addition to succeeding on that, I would also get to complete that quest. And if I lost, the detriment is actually to burn 3 crawler cards. So I would just go 1, 2, and 3. And that would be the end of the damsel. So I hope you liked the demo, and we'll see you around the game store. Cheers.